Hey, real quick before we dive into the Hardcore Closer podcast, if you haven't already, jump over to hardcorecloser.com, sign up, and join over 20,000 sales professionals from around the world and receive free hardcore sales training every week after week that will help you step your game up. Now, buckle up, closers. Here's Ryan. Let's do it.
What's up, Closer Nation? Welcome to the Hardcore Closer podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stewman, the founder, CEO, and sales badass at hardcorecloser.com. Now listen up. If this is your first time, I'm excited that you're here. I do this for you, right? Probably somebody really cool invited you here. You should give them a high five, thank them that you're here. And you know what? I'm glad that you're here because you know what? Everybody was here for the first time at some point and then to come back. So while you're here, listen to this. When you get to the end, you're going to dig this stuff, especially since you're in sales. That's why you've shown up on this podcast. Go listen to the other 19 episodes. And really, I've done hundreds. Like I think I'm well over 200 podcasts at this time, like total with interviews and everything else. Start immersing yourself in my stuff. I've got a lot of great things out there. And I don't say that to be like egotistical, like my shit's great, even though it is. I say that because I build this stuff based on the needs of the sales community, and I want you to take advantage of that. So I'm glad you're here for the first time. And here's the thing. If you're selling cars, homes, financial services, consulting, real estate, dude, anything, like whatever it is that you sell, I've dedicated this podcast to help you sell more of it. Higher quality leads, right? Let's get rid of the kangaroos and the bogues, right? If you're not sure what a kangaroo is, learn the language. You'll be around for a little while. You're going to need to know these things. Increase your closing ratio and show you how to charge premium fees because I'm a big believer in getting paid what you're worth. You know, we just had a Break Free Academy live event here in Dallas last week, and the whole slogan, whatever you want to call it for the company, is get paid what you're worth. And I believe that salespeople, for the most part, or sales closers, are never underpaid. But I believe that salespeople, for the most part, are underpaid. So with that being said, make sure you go over to iTunes if this isn't where you're listening to this at, because this could be on YouTube or whatever. But make sure you give me a review, right? Give me a 5-star review. That's how we're going to reach more and more people each week. Is that the reviews? That's what drives iTunes. That's what helps people find you. And I need your help because listen, I'm on a mission to save the sales community, ladies and gentlemen. Holla if you hear me. I'm on a mission to bring knowledge and bring value and bring all this stuff to the sales community. And I'm never going to reach you fuckers if you don't help me get some reviews inside of iTunes. Like my man right here, by M. Caskill 89. He, on April 18th, he wrote, "I'm dying," 5 stars. He must think my shit's pretty funny, but he says right here, Ryan has very difficult style, but his wisdom is definitely advantageous. You will die at his analogies and personalities. Totally worth it. I appreciate that. Mac Caskill 89, dude. You guys in your hooks, dude. But I'm not judging, dude. I just appreciate the 5 stars. High five right there. So
yeah, a quick tip though, everybody.
Well, hey, look who's interrupting us over here,
dude. I am super. Like I'm about to bring my energy so up, dude. Everybody is slaying me for my energy level.
Low energy, Robert, ladies and gentlemen. Low energy, Robert.
Dude, like, you know, when I leave a review on a podcast, I am for sure putting my first and last name. No, like max scale 1, 2, 3, 4, or what was the one we loved the other week? What was that one?
It's like 420 Mega Man or some shit like that.
No, some closer. What was? Oh, damn! I can't even. I guess it wasn't that compelling.
Especially, think about. You make a valid point because especially knowing that I might read your review live on the air. So if like people, and we have hundreds of thousands of listeners to this thing. So like, you know, if I read your name out on the air, then people might go look you up, figure out who you are, see that you're in the sales, whatever. So.
Or other people that are casually on one of the largest search engines in the world, iTunes, and they come across the podcast where they see the reviews from these people and see that person's name. It's almost the equivalent of like, you know how when you were first starting up, bro, and learning stuff, like where was everything, like make sure that to comment on blog posts, right?
Yep.
And put your name and this and that. Yeah, it's 101, man.
Yep, that's it, man. And yeah, because you got to get known, you got to get yourself out there, man. I used to spend. It's funny you say. I used to spend a lot of my time writing on blogs, right? Do Keller Williams blog, kellerwilliams.com/blog. They got me banned. They won't even let me put shit on there
anymore. What were
your
go-to comment blogs to drum things up for Hardcore Closer back in the day?
Oh, kellerwilliams.com. Their blog for sure, dude. I was on there leaving comments all
So
the
Keller
time because
Williams,
realtors
that's
read
real
that.
estate, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And they're like they're one of the biggest MLMs too. So it's like MLM real estate. So like people really drink the Kool-Aid there. It's a great company, and people really drink the Kool-Aid. So I knew that they were reading the blog, right? Like none of the other real estate places are like that, right? They're just not as interactive. So I would leave hardcore closer links on the blog, and I would see every day in the back of WordPress where a lot of agents were clicking on those links. That was my sole source of traffic until I could afford to buy some.
That's all you gotta do, man. And that
That was like
traffic
my
there,
bicycle before I got this Maserati,
yeah,
yo.
there we go. And bro, like, and tell the truth, like, although that traffic wasn't as at scale or the volume of your ad traffic, but how like targeted was that everybody coming
Dude,
through
hey,
from
if
there,
you work
like,
for Keller
yeah.
Williams and you're listening to this and you have any control over their blog, I will pay for advertising on there. That's how good that was. I'm glad you said that. Like that site, it gets a lot of traction. I'll pay for advertising on there. Holla at your boy if you sell advertising for kellerwilliams.com's blog. How about that? That's how powerful I think it is.
Oh, I'm writing it down because I'm gonna call him up and try to put a deal together for you.
I like the way you think. Now get the hell off of my show. I'm trying to help
My bad,
people.
my bad.
All right, everybody. So listen, episode 20, this is what we're going to talk about. You like that? I'm like, so get the hell off my show. It's his show. I'm just the host. He's the producer. He probably cut that out anyway. I'm going to drop little word tracks throughout the thing so he can't cut it out. So he's got to leave it in here, right? That shit was way too good. You just can't cut it. Anyway, I'm on one today. So listen, we're going to talk about 5 fears every sales professional must face in order to be successful. Listen, if you're going to see any kind of real success in sales, you're going to have to face your fears. Fear of rejection, fear of people calling you an idiot, fear of people not liking you, fear of losing it all, right? Because when you're commission only, when you're commission only, dude, like that's scary, right? Like that's super scary. So I'm going to talk about these 5 fears that I just listed, and I'm going to go over them all in great detail. But here's the thing, man. It's not like you're going to die if you lose the sale. That's the great thing. Like if you don't close, it's not like you're going to die, right? So there really shouldn't be any fear. And the weird thing about fear, the number one fear in America is public speaking, which is basically what I'm doing right now. And I'm not scared of shit. And I'm doing this 15 stories up in the air in one of the most dangerous cities in the country. And I say dangerous because everybody has guns here, right? Even though it's actually pretty safe. I should take that back because of the guns, right? But I mean, I should be fearful of anything. I'm doing the number one thing right now that that Americans are afraid of. I'm followed that with the number 2 thing, I believe, which is heights, right? So I'm 15 floors in the air, looking out a window, doing public speaking in front of y'all right now, and I'm fearless. So here's the thing. So you're scared to death. You got this fear, and you shouldn't, right? So that you just got to face your fears, right? Like, so one time I moved in on September 1st into the high rise, September 1st, a couple years ago. And October 1st, it was my birthday, and I go out on the balcony with a couple of my friends, and my then at the time 3-year-old son locked me out on the balcony. And I'm locked out on the balcony with 2 of my buddies, and I had to face my fear. It's like, dude, I thought I was going to have to jump. I don't know how to handle this shit. I tried to break the window. The window's like bulletproof and triple paned. It wasn't going anywhere. And I wasn't really supposed to be here. I had somebody else sign the lease for me, and I didn't know the number, and I didn't have a phone. Oh, dude, the kid couldn't unlock the door. It was a fiasco, man. It really was. And I had to face some serious fears. When I first went into sales, see, like I had a sales job that paid me hourly plus commission. So if I didn't sell anything, at least I made something. I left that to go into the mortgage world where they did not pay me hourly. They didn't pay me anything. It was commission only. I had to face that fear. And so today, with this show, my goal is for you to face some of the fears that are common in the sales world. But look, they're fears that you're going to have to face if you're going to make it anywhere. So let's talk about number 1, fear of rejection. Listen, if you can't get over this fear, you just might as well go over there to Harold and HR and beg them for a job. See if you can crunch numbers for the people that have faced it. Oh, shit, that was rough, huh? Let's swallow that one for a minute. Because here's the deal, man. You're going to lose more sales than you'll ever close. Let me repeat that. It's not rainbows and sunshine over here all the time. You're going to lose more sales than you'll ever close. I tell people who use my catch selling system, they'll close 3 out of 5 deals at best. Most of them will close 1 out of 5. Some of them 1 out of 10. Depends on how good you are with your words and how much you've practiced it. But here's the thing. You're going to lose a lot of sales. Like most of you that do cold calls out there, you're cold calling 100 people to talk to 5. And that's if you're good. Those of you that are knocking doors out there, there's plenty more gatekeepers that tell you no than let you in. And if you can't face that rejection, if you can't face that fear, if you can't conquer that fear, dude, this ain't for you. People are going to tell you no more than they tell you yes. Matter of fact, people are going to tell you no 4 or 5 times before they even tell you yes. And if you're scared to be rejected, if you were the dude or the chick that had to write a note that was like, will you be my boyfriend? Check yes or no. And you couldn't face people face to face. This ain't for you, man. You might have tried it and you might have gotten lucky and made a few sales, but this ain't for you if you can't face rejection. But here's how you face rejection head on, right? You just go in there and you know that most people are going to turn you down and you just become okay with that. It's called thick skin, right? It's just a part of it. You know that most people are not going to close. You're going to take as much as you can from each one that you run across, but most people are not going to close, and most people are going to reject your offer, and that's just part of life, and you've got to learn how to deal with it and move on. Let's talk about number 2, the big problem in the sales industry, the fear of pissing people off. But when people come to us salespeople, my brothers and sisters, they are looking for a change. And here's the thing, change is going to happen with or without you, but oftentimes when change happens, it pisses you off. Think about this. When's the last time your company installed some new policy that made your job a little bit harder? Maybe it didn't even make it harder, but it was some sort of change that was annoying as hell and it pissed you off. So when people come to us, the salespeople, they have a specific problem that they want us to solve. And our job is to change their situation by solving that problem. And oftentimes change brings people to being pissed off. Oftentimes you've got to be pissed off to want change. I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it anymore.
Well, dude, it seems like that, if I may, that
there,
even
Rob.
when the change is like something stupid, like you can't wear white shirts, they have to be blue. That a simple change like that will just people want to, erupt to, even when it has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Change
Absolutely.
sucks. Nobody likes change.
Change does. We're creatures of habit. And so here's the thing, you're breaking that habit as a salesperson, and and it's okay if they get mad. Oftentimes they're not mad at you. If they can't afford that payment, they're mad at themselves because they didn't save the money or they haven't got their shit together to where they have a life they can afford what they want. If they're mad about the rate on their mortgage, if they're mad at you over their mortgage, it's the fact that they're under a massive amount of stress. Right now, I'm moving. I'm buying 2 houses. I have to close one before I close the other, or I got to disclose one against the other. And it's all this like other paper trail and shit like that. All I'm trying to do is put it in my company's name, and it's this like whole ordeal. And it's frustrating as hell. They lost the lease on my apartments here. They lost my damn parking spot.
Wait,
I got to buy this one house.
Shit.
I got another house going on over here. And here's the deal. All this is a huge change, and it pisses me off massively. But at the same time, when I'm snapping at my CPA or I'm snapping at my mortgage guy, they know that it's not about them, it's about the situation. And when you stop taking things personally, if they get pissed off, chances are they're not pissed off at you. I'm pissed off, but I'm not mad at Mike Wolf, my mortgage broker. He didn't do this. I'm just pissed off at the situation, and I'm doing my best to get through it, and that's how I deal with it. You see the difference, and that's how your prospects are going to be too.
I'm surprised to hear it. So you're telling me that it can be a genuine and authentic objection when somebody says what you just did. I got to wait on this house to close over here. And then this house, like that sounded like, and I know your situation, we talk off air that it's completely authentic, but how many times do people hear that and it's not authentic?
Well, no, I mean, that's like, so say you can't buy one house. Like, so in my situation, I'm buying a house to live in an investment property. And I need to buy the house that I live in first because it's I'm paying one cash, but I need the cash sitting in my account so it looks good for the house that I'm buying to live in, right? So that I pass their like underwriting guidelines, and I'm going to go dump cash into this house, which is going to be, quite a bit of my cash. But I'm going to go dump it in the house and flip it in 90 days and make quite a bit more cash from it. And so, which is why I'm doing this, and I've got to buy the one I live in first and secure that before I get the investment. Anyway, it's just a pain in the ass, right? And all that's pissed me off, but I'm not mad. When I'm talking to the real estate agent here and I'm telling him this is a fuck deal, I'm not telling him he's a fuck person. I'm telling him this is a fuck deal. And here's the thing: sometimes you have to say things to people that pisses them off. Hey, man, your situation is not going to get better if you don't take action. Hey, man, you're not going to be able to get the results you want by doing the same thing that you've done all this time, or you'd already have them. And that's going to piss people off. But if you know, as a salesperson, if you know that what you sell is the best, If you know that they need, like in dire fucking need, which most people are, they wait till the last minute to come to a salesperson. We're like doctors. They wait till they're sick to come see us, right? So you know when they're there that they need your shit. You have the right to piss them off in order to maintain better things for them, right? I'd rather be mad and then the problem solved than be content or be the same and the problem not be solved. The other one, number 3, fear of looking stupid. Man, people hate looking stupid. This ties back to the fear of public speaking. People are scared to say in public because they're like, what if they think I look stupid? Because here's the thing, why this is an insecurity, because most people are stupid. You heard it first right here, Hardcore Closer Podcast. Most people, right? We know at least half the people have a below average intelligence. And then there's going to be a certain percentage above average that's still going to just have a slightly above average percentage of intelligence, which means that there's a lot of people smarter, which means the majority of the below average, the average, and the slightly above average aren't really that smart. So they are stupid. So they have this big fear of looking stupid. But here's the great thing about being stupid. If you're a salesperson, just do what you're told, you'll make money. I would watch guys come into the car dealership, come into the mortgage company, and once they got to know how interest rates work, once they got to know how invoice pricing work, they'd lose all their money because they couldn't hold gross anymore. They do better when they were stupid and the sales manager or the rate lock desk was just telling them what to write down. That's when they were making the most of their money. As soon as they got educated, they started losing it. But oftentimes, salespeople will be scared to look stupid in front of their prospects. And you know what? The way to avoid that, there's one simple way to avoid that. Become prolific. Do the experiments. Become prolific at what you sell. Know everything about it. I mean, if you're selling something you're completely ignorant of and it's not your first day on the job, what in the fuck are you doing with your life? First of all, I recommend not going to sell anything that you don't like. If I didn't believe in internet e-learning programs and love taking e-learning programs myself, I wouldn't be selling them. If I didn't like houses and making money from real estate, I wouldn't have ever done mortgages.
Yeah, so let me ask you this real quick.
If I didn't like cars, I wouldn't have sold cars.
Or bought cars, right? So, like, how important is it to do the opposite of what Scarface has taught us our whole lives and to get high on your own supply? Like, how important is that, though, today? Like, should somebody sell something that they're not inked up on? Or even or would ink up on?
No, that's a big deal with multi-level marketing. They make you buy the product every month so that you're on it, so that when you're selling it to people, you're congruent with your message. I think, when I worked at Ford's, I drove a Ford. I own Hardcore Closer. We do e-learning. I write books. I read books. I create programs. I take programs. I do sales training. I go to other sales training. I've been to 3 seminars in the last 3 weeks that aren't mine. Right? Like I do the same shit that I'm doing here. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, not my own Kool-Aid, because that would be fucking weird. Let me just say that. As an artist, we're the only people that can't do our own things. If you came over to my house and I was watching one of my videos, you'd think I was egotistical, weird, arrogant, narcissist, or whatever, right? If I was a rapper and I made like a rap album and I was bumping my own music, you would be like, dude, for real? If I was a band and I was wearing my own t-shirt, you would be like, dude, for real. Like, we're the only artists and creators. We're like the only people who can't, like, everybody else in the world can say my shit's awesome. But if I'm like caught listening to one of my podcasts going, damn, that was some fire 2 years ago, Ryan, you're like, this dude probably looks at himself and jerks off in the mirror. He's fucking weird. Right?
It's like being on a plane and someone catching a pic of you reading your own book.
Well, Rob Sacades took a picture of me doing that in Vegas, but that was his idea.
Yeah, that was a work. I'm talking to genuine. You're sitting there reading it like it's your time killer, coast to coast.
I wrote my books once and then moved on. That's how I do life. I do everything once and then have editors and stuff like that. And I'll forget what's in them. And from time to time, people will hit me up with stories and I'll be like, damn, I put that in there. I should probably fucking read that better. But anyway, so fear of looking stupid is a big deal. Hey, number 4, fear of not making money. Okay, and this is going to tie into number 5 too. But the fear of not making money, here's the thing. If you get what you focus on. So if you focus on not making money, that fear will come true. But here's the thing. If you're not a lazy bastard and you got some ambition, you can make money in sales. All it takes is learning your product, asking questions, and asking for the business. It's not really that hard. But here's the thing. You try to overcomplicate it by being a fancy talker. And you might say, well, Ryan, you're a fancy talker. I've been fucking doing this shit for 30 years. Right? Like I've been in sales since I was 13. I've been fancy talking since I was like, man, I was a very articulated kindergartner. Right? I've always been that way. That was one of the things that I'm gifted with. But guess what? When I do sales, I don't talk that much. It's my job to talk and fill dead air on this podcast. But when I'm on sales calls, I don't talk that much because I don't need to be a fancy talker. I need to be a problem solver. And I know as long as that person has a problem and as long as I can solve it, then I'm going to make some money. You know, I quit and throw all this shit out the window right now and go sell anything that you could pick out for me, and I'm going to make some money at it. Right? Like, there's nothing out there that I couldn't sell that I couldn't find an angle and go make some money from it. And so, like, and you know why? It's because I faced that fear several times, obviously, and proved it right in this industry, car industry, and everything else. But I'm confident enough to know that I'm going to work hard. And if I work hard, it's something I can't fail. Because if you just shake enough hands, you're going to get money, right? The more hands shake, the more money you make. And so I know all I got to do is go out there and shake as many hands as possible. So if you're scared, if you got that fear of not making money, man, let that shit go. You know, you should have a fear of being lazy, because the only way you can't make money in sales being lazy. You go stand out in front of Walmart and hit enough people up with your pitch, somebody's going to buy your shit no matter what you sell. You can sell 4-foot dildos, and somebody at Walmart on Sunday during church hours is still going to pick that up if you pitch enough people. I want you to just know about that, right? For those of you like my man Paul that actually sells 4-foot dildos. What do you guys do with those things over there? Anyway. All right, number 5, last one, fear of working on commission. This ties into the last one. You know, Americans, my fellow Americans will trade security, will trade freedom for security all day long. Look at what our Congress has done to us. Look at what the legislations that's passed. Look at how other countries are beating me. Damn, I sound like Trump. But I mean, literally pay attention, right? And we do the same thing when it comes into getting into a commission-only job, a sales job, or if we go into some kind of salary job. I've seen plenty of people sacrifice great for good. I've seen a lot of people say, well, I'm going to take this job because it provides a $40,000 a year base, but the commission structure isn't that well. And I've seen them miss out on big potential because Americans will trade freedom for security, freedom being commission, security being salary. And I don't know why that is, right? Like if you're going to take, that's like, if you're going to take a salary plus a small commission, that's like just putting just putting the tip in. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like you're never going to accomplish extreme pleasure, you know, with just like dipping your toe in the water. You can't go swimming. And so, you know, when you say, well, you know, I need some sort of stability. Why are you scared of being lazy? You know, when you have a fear of working on commission, like, why do you expect yourself to fail? You know, I have this event, and last week, Break Free Academy, and I'll say this before we start to wind the show down here. I had this event, and, you know, the funnels that I pull out for everybody to use this software, it creates 32 different funnels. It's pretty cool, right? And so we're going through everything, and everything's awesome, right? And everybody's like, oh, dude, it does this, and it does this. And then there's one person in the back there, and they're like, well, it doesn't do this or this. And I told the person, I said, well, you know, let me just ask you a question. There's 32 funnels that it created here, and each one has several different variations. And all of a sudden, out of all 32, you found the 2 things that it doesn't do. Let me ask you, does that show up in other areas of your life? There's 10 blessings around you, and you end up talking about the one curse that you ran into. You know, let's look at my life real quick. I've got all these problems that I named about buying one house before the other, losing my apartment, all these things. And I'm not complaining about those. I'm just using them as factual statements. And here I am still talking about how awesome things are going to be. Because I'm not focused on those curses, because for those 5 curses, I've got 50 blessings right now. And so here's why I say all that. Trade freedom for security, everything else, right? But you can't start focusing on the negative, right? If you're going to work in commission, you've got to go all the way in. And chances are, if you're finding a reason why working commission won't work for you, it won't. If we give you 32 funnels and you focus on the 2 things that don't do, if we give you unlimited commission and you're focused on the fact that you may not, you're worried about what if you have a bad month? Just don't have a bad month. How do you not have a bad month? Invest in yourself, network, and work your ass off, and it's impossible to have a bad month. So let me give you a quick recap. 5 fears you got to face. Fear of rejection, get over that shit. Fear of pissing people off, fuck them. Fear of looking stupid, just, hey, educate yourself. Fear of not making money, quit being a broke ass. Fear of working on commission, quit being a chicken shit. Now, here's the thing. If you'll text the word HC podcast to 44222, you can get my book for free. And if you don't like free shit, something's wrong with you. That's your problem, not mine. And again, go over to iTunes. Make sure you give me a 5-star review if this is your first time here. Super excited that you can hang out with us. You, first timer, you need to go over to iTunes and give me a 5-star review as well. Make sure you use your real name so we can give you a shout out on here. And you can catch the show notes and everything else over at hardcorecloser.com. And also, don't forget to follow me on social media. Go to clixo.com/closer, CLYXO.com/closer. And you can follow me on the Snapchat, Instagram, all that other stuff. Make sure you share this on social media, like us on YouTube, and we are out.